Alan White, brought to you by the United States Army Reserve, and I'm Allison Steele, the Nightbird. The music of Alan White, 1/5 of Yes, or I shouldn't do percentages because I'm never very good at them, but one of the important, one of the most respected, one of the lovely members of Yes with his first solo album, and if I seem unduly enthusiastic, well, I am known pretty widely as a Yes freak. And I have to be enthusiastic over this album. And I am doubly enthusiastic today because Alan White is sitting in my studio.
Hi.
Hi, Alan. I'm so pleased that you could come and see me, and I'm very flattered. And I realize that, yes, are superstars now, and they don't go around seeing people.
Superstar. Well, in your own words, maybe.
In my own words.
I don't know.
Well,
I think the band, we really feel as if we're just climbing still. We
no
haven't reached
question.
it yet.
There is no question. Of course, it particularly it gives me a big kick because when Yes came out, my feeling at the very first album was this is going to be one of the major forces in music, and I think you have become.
Yeah.
I'm not being facetious at all. I mean,
Okay.
all of this is in fun, but there's no question. But that certainly, in my experience among my audience at night, Yes is probably within the top 5 of all-time favorite groups.
Oh, that's very flattering.
And more than deserved. Now let's get to talk about Ramshackled, which is Alan's album, and it's a beautiful package in case there's anyone that has not seen it yet. It's a pure white album with a lovely portrait of Alan on the cover. It's a drawing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a drawing of our manager found this guy who I really enjoyed his pencil sketches.
Well, Brian has a way of finding all sorts of things, doesn't he? Brian Lane. Getting to be almost as well known as the group. Alan, of course you know that when each member of Yes came out with an album, everybody inevitably felt that they'd put the needle down and hear Yes. I mean, hear the same sound.
That's right.
And certainly with your album, I think even more than Chris and Steve, that opening cut was even more of a surprise. Tell me how you happened to do the album just that way.
Well, I came from my role in the band as a drummer. I pretty much like playing with a group of people, not so much individualist as far as musical style goes. And I'm quite a schizophrenic type of person as far as direction goes. I can change from day to day. Therefore, on the album, I had quite a selection of different types of music that I really enjoy playing. It was a very happy feeling doing the album with these friends of mine that I've known for a long time. And finally, this was the chance I had to sit down and say, hey, let's have a good time in the studio and just make some good music. And as it turned out, we all got turned on by it, and it all happened in the end. It is a little different from Yes, but there's hints of Yes here and there, which I obviously wanted to have from the experience of being with a band like Yes. Drives, John Anderson pumps into you all this mystique and stuff.
Of course, and you can hardly ignore it. Oh, I think you got it very nicely in a couple of the cuts, Darkness and A Song of Innocence, and even things like Avakak.
Yeah.
The grandeur of Yes could be felt in it.
Slightly more jazz tinted as far as Avakak, the instrumental part of the album.
Yes.
There's a slight touch of jazz, and plus I always like working with horns and drummers. You'll find I always love working with horns because you can really kick them up behind, and really.
That's the drive. That's the drive of the band. Yeah. Where were you before you went to Yes, Alan?
I was playing with Joe Cocker for 6 weeks, directly before Yes.
Well, that must have been, what, along the time of Mad Dogs and Englishmen?
About 3.5 years ago now.
Yeah, about the time they did the Mad Dogs and Englishmen tour.
Yeah, I did a little of that tour, and I did a European tour for 6 weeks with Joe. I really enjoyed that. I was working with Jim Keltner, who's another good drummer.
Fine.
Yeah. And the reason I really got into doing it was because of playing 2 drummers, and I wanted the experience of doing that on stage, and it really is an incredible experience.
I'd love to have time someday to sit down and talk about that 2-drummer thing. I've always wondered about it. This is the Nightbird, Allison Steele for the United States Army Reserve, and our guest today is Alan White of Yes. We're visiting with Alan White in the studio. That's his music from his first solo album, Ramshackled, and hopefully the first of a long line that he will make how do I say this? Without the assistance of the rest of the Yes members.
That's right, individually.
And you did, didn't you? It's strange, too. A lot of fine musicians who make an album on their own, well, like take for instance anybody from the Grateful Dead family. Anytime any one of them has made a solo album, they've always used all the other members, or a good part of the other members on the album, and so it comes out very much the same as the group. But
yeah, this is it.
You made a point to go out.
Yeah, I did, because, it's a little silly, each of us making our own individual albums with our own interpretation of how we're feeling at this time, and using the members. Say I use Chris on my album, which starts sound like the rhythm section of Yes, which is, we wanted to say something individually, and it's sensible. I used a lot of good friends and musicians I respect, and the rest of the band, we came to an agreement. I played on Steve's album about 5 cuts.
Yes, I know that.
And, but that was one of the first albums we got into as individualists, so we learnt a little bit from that album to steer clear of sounding too much like Yes.
There was no hard feelings, was there?
Oh, not at all. It was very, very
friendly.
nice situation between everyone.
Who were the people that you used on this album?
From scattered musicians around London that have been playing with various bands. I don't know whether you would recognize them over here,
Mostly session men.
Not session men as such. Session men who like playing with the people I like playing with, not so much reading the dots, and that kind of person. But Lindisfarne is a name you recognize.
Oh, of
There's
course.
a couple of people from Lindisfarne.
Good group, too.
A band called Snafu, which maybe you heard
Also
of.
good group, yes.
Just people like that who've been around for a while and really know their instruments well.
It certainly was a happy blending.
Yeah.
And now here's the music of Alan White. There's a lot of good cuts in this album, Alan. Do you have a favorite?
Yeah. There's a lot of different kinds of music, as I was saying. I have different kind of, towards each different numbers, I get a different feeling at different times of the day. You know that worked out, the schizophrenic kind of thing about it. Song of Innocence I enjoy a lot for the peace it gives me, and it's pretty much a poem kind of song.
Yes, it is.
It says a lot of nice things. Ooh Baby, I think, is one of my favorites as well.
The mover in him comes out with one like that.
Yeah.
The thing that makes me wonder about all these individual albums, I mean, it's marvelous for Yes fans because we've got exactly twice as much music. What will happen, for instance, when Yes goes on tour?
Well, we're planning on playing some cuts from the individual albums from everyone, but Yes are going to play them. That's quite an interesting experiment we're getting into as far as that's concerned. We've been rehearsing really hard for this tour, and
You'll have to have a very long tour on stage, won't you? I mean,
yeah, we did map a plan out of our stage presentation this tour, and started running into 3.5 hours, 4 hours.
Absolutely.
So we were kind of thinking a little bit about that, considering we play every night.
Oh yeah, it's a bonanza for the fans, but
Yeah.
I don't know how you could hack it because
But the,
you'd have to play All Good People, you'd have to play A Little Close to the Edge, and then you'd have to play a couple from yours, a couple from Steve's, a couple from
That's
and
it.
I
That's 10 new numbers, in fact.
easily.
And a couple of ones off John's album are like 10, 15 minutes long.
I think we have time for one more cut from Alan White's album, Ramshackled. Lots of good luck on the tour, and of course give my best to all the rest of the members of Yes.
Sure, well,
Nice of you to come and see me, Alan. Alan White of Yes, and this is the Night Bird, Alison Steele, reminding you that in the Army Reserve, part of what you earn is pride.